For Best Music Coach, my name is Dan, and you are watching a music teacher's reaction live and in real time to Final Fantasy original soundtrack. I've never heard this before, never, ever in my life, so all my reactions, all my comments will be in the moment, off the top of my head. And we're going to start, this is part 2, so we're going to be listening to disc 2 today. We're going to be starting with main theme of Final Fantasy VII. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Go. Hey chat, how's it going? We are live. Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah, Sophia Day, I agree. It's interesting that we have the Final Fantasy main theme this far into the soundtrack. Beautiful. So we started off in E major, now we're in G major. Oh, Derek Yale, shout out to Derek Yale in the chat. Coming back to arpeggios, this is how we started off the soundtrack. Except these are now minor arpeggios. with a minor feeling, a minor key. This is much more threatening, more ominous. I'll turn my headphones up a little bit. So interesting now. Now we're sort of in E minor. So we've had this change. Now I've never played this game, but it seems to me that something has very dramatically shifted from the beginning of this theme to the middle of this theme. Now we're back to E major. Or are we back to E major? Huh. Now we're back. Huh. That was a very, very interesting theme. The journey that it took from that sort of major place, even with the that chord progression there of going flat 6 major, flat 7 back to 1. That there was interesting in and of itself, but also that it started off major, then it went to that minor land, and now it came back. So a couple shout outs and a couple thank yous. First to Xenon, who says, while not my favorite Final Fantasy soundtrack, the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack is super iconic, and I've got you Xenon for Kirby. Jammy, thank you so much. Jammy says, let's get this stream off to a good start. $40 towards Tohu 11. I'm still saying that wrong. I'm sorry. And to Bravely Default, you got it. Benjamin says, I highly recommend doing the Final Fantasy VI soundtrack, original and pixel remaster. And you've got that for sure, Benjamin. We'll put that super chat towards it. And welcome to new member, the Golden W. Kai will work out what you want for your super chat. And Rubberman says another boost. Also, someone mentioned on Twitter, commenting on my face from Earthbound Reaction Part 1 on the face you made in the thumbnail. Well, you know what? It is what it is. And a shout out and thank you to El Guerre. You've got it, DMC5. Okay, so we're going to keep this thing rocking and rolling. Any super chats that I missed during the stream, don't worry. We will catch those at the end. We'll do a whole little super chat reading section at the end. All right, this next one is called On Our Way. Oh! I want to catch that next time around. Interesting in the strength. Listen to that over that E minor chord if it comes back around. Beautiful minor 6 chord there. Oh, that one threw me for a loop. I'll catch it next time around. But something we've seen a couple times in this soundtrack is actually happening here. That we're going to a minor 4 before we go back to 1. Now, typically when you harmonize a major scale, 4 is major. So I think what's interesting too is that in this sort of earlier sort of PlayStation 1 just coming out of SNES point in history, like if you think about the village themes from other games, like go listen to the village theme from A Link to the Past. For Kakariko Village, it's like arpeggios, it's in a major key. Obviously it's different from this, I'm not making a direct comparison. But I think what is interesting is that having a slower song in a major key, talking about a place that feels safe, that feels protected, that feels like home, that's an interesting connection there. A shout out and a thank you to Watashi Machine, full cycle. Of a washing machine? That's funny. Okay, welcome to Staunch Supporter. And Weirdness Unfolds, thank you for your super chat. We'll be sure to put that towards Ocarina of Times. This next one is called Good Night Until Tomorrow with some very interesting capitalizations. Perhaps this is incorrect, but man, the good of good night is not, the G of good is not actually capitalized, which is interesting. Oh, beautiful. El Guerre, Slava Ukraini. Well, that was fast. So this one is called On That Day 5 years ago. So already in this part 2, we're seeing some radically different uses of harmony from the first. Here we have a D over A, or D in second inversion, to G minor, Oh. Okay, so already a huge departure from the harmony we heard in disc 1. Now, I heard disc 1 and I was like, okay, I think I've got disc 2. Like, I'm going to be able to walk in here and I'm going to be able to get all these chord progressions first time around by ear, because in disc 1, everything was a lot simpler. It was a lot more straightforward. And this is not that. This was complex. There's chords and inversions. A lot going on, much more complex sound. So we can also think of, I suppose, the story evolving and actually more complexity coming to the story, perhaps more complexity coming into the play, into the plot, into the characters, into the challenges that you're facing in the game with this rise in complexity of the music. This next one is called Farm Boy. Going to A major, 5 of 5 there, assuming we're in G. That was an A with a C sharp in the bass. That was cool. Really showing you the 5 of 5 there. Yeah, we have a banjo here. Well, a banjo patch. What is meant to be a banjo? AC in the house. All right, so we're going to talk about a 5 of 4 in a minute, because that's what was used here. Okay, so let's talk about secondary dominants. So what secondary dominants are, it's when we take a chord from the harmonized major scale and we borrow the 5 of that chord from its own scale and make that 5 a dominant chord. So in this song, we actually had 2 secondary dominants. I'm going to break down for you. So the first is when we transitioned to the 4. So it's like, so when the bass walks down from the G to the F, walk, that right there creates a G7 chord. Because of that F in the bass, the chord is now no longer just a plain G major chord, it's a G7 chord, and the G7 chord is actually the 5th of C. So if you think about C, we go C, D, E, F, G, we count up 5, we make that a 7th chord, that's actually the 5 of 4, bringing us to 4. Then the next chord was an A7, which is the 5 of 5, which brings us to the D sometimes, and sometimes in the song it doesn't quite bring us to the D. So very interesting use of 2, not 1, but 2 secondary dominants. And we're going to keep this thing rocking and rolling with the next one called Waltz de Chocobo. Waltz de Chocobo. So, any of you music theory guys out there, we hear low, high, high, low, high, high. That's strongest, weakest, strongest, weakest. Showing us, indeed, we are in 3/4. That was a ton of fun, especially the... Ah, well, I messed that part up. But having that little chromatic approach and that chromatic run, that was fun. This next one's called Cinco de Chocobo, which I suppose is like the Cinco de Mayo, but not quite. Oh, the second one is Electric de Chocobo. Alright, so this is something we've actually seen before. So we've actually heard previously in this soundtrack a similar mechanism being used. I don't think this sounds like surfer music. I think this, well, it's close to the Doors too with that organ in there. But what makes it sound like surfer music? Okay, it's the drums, it's the use of the guitar riff playing single notes. Okay, now this does sound like surfer music. Okay, and now it really sounds okay. Okay, it's surfer music. Okay, so it's also the chords, it's also the effects that are used on the guitar, it's the notes that the guitar is playing around those chords, that's also very, very much surferish. But before it got to that real guitar-y breakdown thing, to me it sounded more like the Doors. Like right here, this is like the Doors to me. Like same drum beat as the Doors. Yeah, it's very Doorsy. Yeah, Sonor XL, it does sound like the Doors, I agree. Come on now. All right. Okay. 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 So the reason why I was cracking up during that part is because you had this very typical surf guitar going on over here. And then over here, you just did not have anything remotely close to what a surf guitar normally does. And it was actually creating these really interesting dissonant moments with the surf guitar, and it was almost like perhaps there was a character or something happening in this situation that was like a little weird, and it was a little off, and it like wasn't listening to what anyone else was trying to do. But what was going on the right here honestly was musically hilarious. Not bad, but actually humorous and funny. Shout out and a thank you to Bob Jones, who says, here's to a Final Fantasy VII Remake reaction review. I recommend using the not Final Fantasy VII OST playlist. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Bob Jones. We're going to put that on there. Also, Bob Jones, thank you so much for your awesome work in the comments. Getting those timestamps in. This next one is called Cinco de Chocobo. Yeah, it is in 5/4. Dooba dooba shkabi dabba da bum bum. Yeah. Dave Brubeck on a Chocobo. Very good, Michael Gum. So let's talk about this 5 here. So if we think about something like 4/4, we have strongest, weak, strong, weakest. Oh, interesting. At 3/4, we have strongest, weak, weakest. But in 5/4, all bets are off. But you'll see that typically 5/4 is grouped into a series of 3, then a series of 2. And you can hear the 3 and the 2 here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1. Ah. Well, we had a couple of not 5s over here. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. See, and it's not 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. No. It's a group of 3 and a group of 2. You hear that little at the end? That's the 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, absolutely, Sonor XL. There are a couple of non-5s in there. This next one is called In Search of the Man in Black. Interesting panning. Listen for that bell moving around in the stereo image there. Now, there's a lot going on here. There's a really quiet piano right over here. With the melody here. A response, call response. Bass is like over here. Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Oh, wow. Really interesting panning going on here. So panning is when you hear a musical element moving around. If you're wearing headphones or earbuds, you'll hear it. That it's actually moving where you might, if you close your eyes, it sounds like someone's walking around you while they're playing. Hello there. That was an interesting shift. You can hear the delay of that one is moving across the stereo image. That and right there, that just swept across like this. Beautiful. That was a really, really interesting piece. In terms of the way it was constructed with the panning and the presentation and the mix of the different instruments, very fascinating. This one is called Fort Condor. This does remind me a lot of A Link to the Past. A lot. I know I haven't said much. There's a lot going on. And it's changing quite frequently. It's not just the familiar sound font, Machinavi. It's the way it's used, too. The note choices for the chords, the mix. So that was a really interesting piece of music. Yes, it was military. It had the snare drum. It had all the feelings that would conjure up a bunch of soldiers doing something somewhere in some video game. Other than that, I really don't have too much to say, so I'm just going to go to the next one called Rufus's Welcoming Ceremony. This sounds like it's heading into a march, too. So listen to this march. This march is either in 2-2 or 2-4, depending on how it's written. But it's not 4-4. There really are 2 beat units per measure. Love that tuba. That's what it was. Rixar, I heard that drum part and I was saying to myself, man, I was what is that? Bump bum, bump bum, brrr, bump bum. And then I heard in my head, bump bump bump, tucky tucky the bump 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 bump. That's what it was. Thank you for catching that. Rixar 12 with the ears. Well done. There it was right there. Ba-bum. Right. What's interesting too is we hear a bass drum used here. Not timpani, but a proper bass drum. Well, that one was a ton of fun. This next one is called It's Hard to Stand on Both Feet! Exclamation point. Oh, come on now. I'll get down. Oh, this is sick. So, arigatou gozaimasu. Nippon. Hey, you know what's really wild? Okay. So this is really like, this is also like in 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's not 4. It feels very sort of polka-ish, but like a polka you can like groove to, man. Well, Arigato. Oh, yeah. Yeah. My kanji are pretty rusty, but I got that much. Okay, so is this the same time signature as the last song? Well, we will never know until we look at the sheet music and understand the composer's true intention, because is it 2-4 or is it 2-2? How was it written? I mean, even the bass line alone is really just fascinating. I'll break down the main bass line after this. Okay, let's break down that main bass line, because that's really, really cool. So look, it's like we're in C minor, and then in the bass line we start on 1, we go to scale degree 5, scale degree 6, scale degree flat 2, which is also like a tritone substitution. Oh, look out for that one. It's sort of like implying a tritone substitution before we go back to 1. Now, what a tritone substitution is, hold on, this is a kind of advanced, it's more advanced than I typically go, but roll with me here. So what a tritone substitution is when we take what would be the dominant. So if we're in C minor, the dominant technically would be G7. If you think about it in terms of scale degree names, we have tonic, supertonic, median, subdominant, dominant. So scale degree 5, dominant, also the chord, dominant. Now, what we can do is we can actually substitute a tritone, because the two most important notes in a G7 chord are the F and the B. We can even sort of forget about the G. Those two notes, the 7th and the 3rd, are the most important notes because they're actually what give the chord quality and color. Now, here's the thing. What if we kept those two notes, the F and the B, and instead of having the G in the bass, instead we put a D flat in the bass? All of a sudden, we have a D flat 7, D flat, which is the tritone of G. So it's, well, a diminished 5th up from G, which is also a tritone, and then it's also a 7th, so we call it a tritone substitution. So instead of a G7, we have a D flat 7, bringing us back to. So technically, if we put one chord, if we were to harmonize the full bass line, we'd have 1 would be C minor, then we go to G, 7, then we go to A flat. I think we should keep that as a major short, and then we'd have D flat, and maybe I'll make it a little nasty and then bring it back home. So that's a ton of fun. All right, let's keep this thing rocking and rolling with Trail of Blood. So we just heard a callback to the bass line from the previous song right there. So listen to that. It's like a bass drum all the way in the back. Reminds me of that sound we've heard throughout the soundtrack of almost like a sheet of metal being hit. Oh, that was cool. So even the movements in the bass there, we had bum, 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 bum. Similar chromatic movements to what we had in the last song in the bass. And right there, that's the same exact bass line, just down a half step. So what we're hearing here is actually technically heard on disc 1, which is one note in the bass, chords changing on top of that. Huh. Love it. Voices in there. Okay, this next one is called Genova, all caps, for whatever that's worth. Oh yeah. Oh, come on. Yo, that Stranger Things bass in the right ear is everything. And yes, I know this bass was around before Stranger Things. Oh, listen to that piano doubling the bass. Oh, it's very soft. It's in the left ear. Oh, this isn't like... Oh, that was so cool. Now listen, bass is staying the same note. Chords are changing over that same note. Gosh, I loved every single second of that, from the bass in the right ear, that bass, synth bass being doubled by the piano. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. This next one is called Continue. Shout out for you, Super Smash people out there. This next one is called Costa del Sol. Or Costa del Sol. Alright, come on now. Interesting, now we're making our way back to F major, which is a key that we heard. All right, this chord progression is very interesting. So we make our way to F, then we're not at all at F anymore. It was like 2-5 in G, 2-5 in F, 2-5 in G, 2-5 in F, and then finally make our way to F. Very interesting piece of music in a bossa nova style. This next one is called Mark of a Traitor. I hear Jimmy can also be a traitor too. Does this remind me of a Disc 1 song? No, I do not remember all the Disc 1 songs that well. But we are back to F minor, which I know for a fact is something that happened in Disc 1. Well, F minor, but like F Dorian. What? Like, what? Okay, yeah, technically dissonant. Okay, let's have a talk about dissonance after this. Okay, so let's have a talk about dissonance and consonance because it's kind of important to break it down. Because, okay, we can have what we call what I call traditional dissonance and traditional consonance. And yes, by all metrics, that section where you heard me laugh, I was laughing because it was traditionally dissonant. But here's the thing. The way it was used was really humorous and actually kind of funny. Again, a lot of humor in the way that was used. So was it dissonant? Yes, but was it dissonant in a way that like made Bach sort of like roll over in his grave? Yes, absolutely. But for our modern sensibilities, for our modern ears, that was actually really cool and really humorous and a sign of like some real musical intelligence there too as well. This next one is called Mining Town. And when I say musical intelligence, I mean you have to understand a joke. You have to understand a language to be able to joke in it. Like whenever you learn a new language, the first time you make up a joke in a new language, it like shows a level of mastery of what's going on. So that's what I mean there. This next one is called Mining Town. Yeah, so this is definitely in minor. E minor. But again, Dorian, not natural minor because we're hearing that raised 6. I'll break down the difference between a natural minor scale and Dorian right after this song. By the way, I just figured out that the mods in the chat have that little wrench next to them. We have some new mods on the channel as of this stream. Thank you, mods, for being here. I just figured that out. I'm a little slow. It's like, what's going on with all these people with the wrench icon and the wrench emoji next to their names? Sorry for talking over the music. This next one is called Gold Saucer. It's like Brandenburg meets like Hey Nani No Renaissance Fair. And I just say Brandenburg because the way the harpsichord's mixed reminds me of a lot of recordings I've heard of the Brandenburg Concerto. Anyway. An amusement park, yeah, sounds about right. Cool. Yeah, Bach Oktoberfest. Good call, Zenju, I like it. What's interesting too is that these drums really are in two again. Oktoberfest sounds fun, says Derek Yale. This next one is called Kate Sith's Theme. Does she have a red lightsaber, I wonder? Or have just her eyes turned and her lightsaber still blue while she fights Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar? I wonder. Oh, cool. All right, so back to F minor. Major 4. This is wild. I love the bass and the kick drum going together on that. So, very interesting change here to major 4, B flat major, going down a whole step with majors, which we have heard before from Nobuo-san. Heard him use those descending whole step with major chord movements. Okay, guys, this next one is called Desert Wasteland. Listen to the pan on that. That guitar sounds live to me. Japi Padazaki. Very interesting bass drum there. Right there. Bass drum. Perhaps meant to be a taiko? Listen to that bell. Now doubling the melody. A sample, yeah, but not MIDI. Didn't sound to me. Yeah, I know MIDI can be, you can trigger samples with MIDI. That's more my point. It was a recorded sound. It was not generated through a synth. Oh, so tasteful. Actually, if you listen to the decay on that guitar, I'm not sure if that is live. It might be a synth. Yeah. If you listen to the very tail of the sound, wow, that fooled me for a hot minute. Yeah, it was very close. And this melody is just gorgeous. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, sounds like a taiko. I don't think that's a bass drum. Could be wrong though. Okay, final thoughts and reaction. Before I do that, guys, there's a pinned comment in the chat with the top 10 things I think all gamers should know about music theory. Go click on that, check it out. It's a free download, and there's more free downloads with it. It's just tons of free content for you. Okay, this is what I think. I think it was very interesting to hear the difference from Disc 1 to Disc 2, because Disc 2 was very different from Disc 1. Yes, we had a couple of moments where we had F major or F minor, but for sure, a clear departure in obviously the story. Something's different, perhaps different characters, definitely different places. Absolutely wild. And I mean, just so radically different, but still you can hear the composer's voice coming through in the sense that those moments of playfulness, those moments that can make you laugh just from the music itself are still there, and it's still from the same person. It's still from the same human. You can hear the creative mind, the creative soul shine through, and I really did enjoy that. I cannot wait for part 3. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can tune in to part 3 and 4 of this Final Fantasy VII original OST stream. All right. This is the first time we've ever done this in the stream. Let's go check out those super chats. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. So Xenon said back at the beginning, while not my favorite Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy is super iconic. It goes towards Kirby, Planet Robot. Well, you got it, Xenon. Jammy, let's get this stream off to a good start. Can I get $40 of this put towards Tohu? Guys, I'm so sorry. I think I'm still saying that wrong. And remaining 5 to Bravely Default. Well, Jammy, you've got it. Benjamin, by the way, if anyone has any improvements for how I'm doing this, I've never done this before, like reading super chats at the end of the stream. So you let me know in the chat what you think I'd be doing better, and I'll do it better. Benjamin says, highly recommend doing the Final Fantasy VI soundtrack remix, Pixel. Original and Pixel remaster. And this goes towards that in general. Well, you've got that, Benjamin. We'll rock and roll with that. Toho. Arigato gozaimasu. The Golden W. Welcome. New member. Kai says, for Hotline Miami 2, although completely unrelated, the tracks in the game vary from the surreal to heart-pounding. That sounds exciting. If you enjoy 80s style synth, give it a try. Well, that sounds super cool, and I love. Oh, I'm doing a great job reading. Okay, this is what other streamers do. They just read these at the end. Okay, cool. Let's go Hotline Miami. You got it. Okay, Rubberman 202 says, another boost for Mother 1, Earthbound Beginnings. Also, I saw someone mention you on Twitter, commenting on your face from the Earthbound Reaction 1, part 1 of the face you made in the thumbnail. Yes, a lot of people have left comments on that face, but you know what? They clicked on the thumbnail, so you know what? It worked. El Guerre says, hi, will you ever stream reaction to DMC5 OST reaction? Well, we'll put your super chat towards it, and if it's not already on the list, we will do that. Do other streamers put music under this part? I feel like we should have music under this part. And Watashi Machine, full cycle. Welcome to staunch supporter. Weirdness Unfolds, as always, Ace Combat 7. Also, this song reminds me a lot of Ocarina of Time soundtrack. Actually, Algara says hello from Ukraine. Some do. All right, we'll have music queued up for it. Actually, chat. Type a 1 in the chat if you want me to take 2 seconds to put music behind this. Weirdness Unfold says it's supposed to be Ace Combat 7, not OOT. Throwing in some extra because, well, thank you so much. Zaxter says, because you keep bringing up for comparisons, humbly request link to the past. All right, everyone hold on here. We're going to get some music that is not copyrighted. It's going to be a piece of music I made. So it's like all good. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for music. I'm looking for music. Where is it? Okay, found it. Okay, let me just loop you guys in to QuickTime so that y'all can hear it. Give me 3 seconds. Give me three seconds. Oh my gosh. And just I'm looping it in. Okay, you guys should be able to hear this now. There we go. All right. Weirdness unfolds. All right, Zaxter89 says, because you keep bringing it up, for comparison, humbly request a link to the past. Well, Zaxter, thank you so much for requesting that. Golden W says, thank you for the shout out. Wanted to support this awesome channel. Could you put my donations towards the Go Trick sound chat? A Ghost Trick. Oh, hang on, my thing. I need to make my thing full screen. There we go. Ghost Trick soundtrack. I think you would love it because it was done by Ace Attorney once. Oh, that's interesting. A little lower, please. All right, you got it. Hang on. Okay, a little lower. There we go. Is that better now? We're doing it. We're doing it in real time here. Okay. El Guerra says, maybe Blasphemous OST 2, please. Well, you've got it. And Watashi says, not a game OST, but uniquely internet related, so I'm sure if you take it, but I'd love to see you react to some Bill Wirtz stuff. Not please put this towards Ghost Trick. Well, you've definitely got it for Ghost Trick. I'll see about the Bill Wirtz. By the way, this thing is not on loop, so I'm gonna go restart it again. This is our first one. Okay, Bob Jones says, here to a Final Fantasy VII Remake reaction. Oh, you got it, Bob Jones. And again, thank you and shout out to Bob Jones for the timestamps. Bob says, I highly recommend using the not Final Fantasy VII OST playlist since it's the only playlist and has the remake tracks. Franklin says, hey there. Here's another vote for Trails of Cold Steel. Also knows you spelled it wrong in the list. Sorry, I'll fix that. Put in tracks instead of trails, and now we're gonna loop it again. It's only a minute and 53 seconds. I have a longer version for next time. And Sophia Day says, thanks. You would love OST, a game called VII. Excellent. Well, that sounds like fun. The Scientician says, I'd like to boost A Link to the Past and Ocarina. I don't know how to send exactly 20 on mobile. That's probably because you're going through an Apple device and Apple will not let you send the full. But hoping for 10 each. Yeah, we'll split that up and make that happen. Welcome, Teo, or Theo, however you pronounce your name. Oral Rhythm says, first time here live, hoping I could possibly just went for one shot. Well, Aura, you are in luck. One shot's gonna be coming up soon. Thank you so much for your super chat. SJA Sogun1 says, hey, been really enjoying these reactions, especially to some interesting stuff that I might not have checked out, like Calamity. Yeah, I know, right? Calamity didn't win any polls forever, and then it won, and I was like, okay, I guess we'll do it, and did it, and then whoa, possibly one of my favorite OSTs of all time. Absolutely wild, mad respect to the composer there. I'd like to add Maple Story to the list. Technically one game, but an MMO, so treat it as a series. Theo, got it, Theo. Cheers. Yeah, Calamity is so good. King Peggy says, popping in once again to bump Chrono Trigger. Super. Fun fact, the composer for the Final Fantasy games assisted with a few songs in Chrono Trigger. Oh, that's fascinating. That's like... You're playing from YouTube? No, I'm not playing it from YouTube. I'm playing it from QuickTime Player. Because I don't have this piece of music on YouTube. This is just the piece of music that I use in all my content for intro and outro that I just threw together in Logic one day because I needed intro and outro music and didn't want to pay anyone for intro and outro music, so I just made that. Let's say King Peggy. Oh yes, we said King Peggy's. Sheikah Shadow. By the way, the entire time I was playing A Link what was that game? Breath of the Wild. I feel like I was saying Sheikah wrong. Maybe it's Sheikah. Maybe it's Shika. Sheikah. I think it's Sheikah. Sheikah Shadow says Paper Mario, the Origami Star OST would be cool. You got it. I think we have Paper Mario in there. We'll be for sure to upvote that. Hey Noah Urban, welcome. Andreas says, I think Hilux is on the list, so I'll upvote that. Well, you got it, Andreas. And Jappy Padadzaki says, another donation was Jazz Jackrabbit. Jappy, that OST is going up the list for sure. And a bunch of cashews says, this song remind you of a Disc 1 song, which I don't think I caught, but thank you, a group of walnuts. And Echoes of the Mind says, another $5 was Battlefield 1. Well, you got it, Echoes of the Mind. Chapman Mallard say, hey, heads up your Toho 6 and first Earthbound stream earned 100 for Plock. All right, I'll check into that. Sometimes people donate in different currencies that do not translate to the dollar that strongly, but on the spreadsheet it's only listed for 85, just a heads up. So go back and double check those. Thanks for that. Also put this donut towards Mother 3. Well, you've got it, Chapman. Big Gamer 2525 says, thank you so much for your great streams, like the OST of SimCity 4 and 3000. This is so slapdash. In fact, I'm making my own city builder and want the OST to be... Oh, well, you're making your own game, Big Gamer? That is so cool. An analysis for them would be helpful. Oh, so you're actually going to make your own music, Big Gamer? That is so cool. Be sure to let us keep us updated as to your progress on that game, and especially for me, I'd be interested in the OST that you are going to make. Probably Ghost Trick and Chrono Trigger done. Start yelling about Watashi says I'm weak for city builders. And that's Big Gamer 2525 if anyone wants to go check out whatever they have on their channel. And Mr. X Gamer Channel BR says, love your reactions and I learn a lot of music theory. Love to see you reacting to Kingdom Hearts Remix and Shadow of the Colossus OST. And Pikachu, it won't let me scroll down to see your... Oh, there we go. Pikachu says, great stream today, Dan. I'd like to add this to Persona 5 Royale fun. Well, you got it, Pikachu. All right, well, that's all our super chats. Chat, let me know if this was like how other streamers do it at the end of streams, reading it out, and like if this was satisfactory. Did we do it right? Did I do it right? Hey, mods. No profanity. Cool. Okay. All right, I did it right. Cool. So like we're done. Hey, that was really awesome. Hey, everyone, check out the link in the chat to the top 10 things I think every gamer should know about music theory. And I will see you all in the next stream. This was a really interesting experiment, and this was a ton of fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.